Hi guys, compliments of the new year. Welcome to A Plus Economics Tutors. I am Mr. Matsaneng and I will be leading the tutoring and extra class lessons for Economics Grade 11 in Term 1. I hope you're excited and thrilled and looking forward to this exciting academic year. Right. So, as we begin with term one, it is very important, absolutely important, before we get into the depth detail of the content, before we get to the exciting stuff, to draw our roadmap to our learning and what is important for us to learn and what are we going to learn before we begin with our lessons. Okay? Right. In grade 11, topic 1, we are going to be dealing with the factors of production. Provided that you still remember what are the factors of production as we touched on them in grade 10 when we were doing the basic concepts. You were only exposed rather to the basic concepts, the definitions of what are the factors of production and how many factors of production do we have in the economy to make sure that we do achieve a successful economic processes we've done in grade 10. You may remember that in as far as factors of production are concerned, we have four factors of production. We have the natural resources, we have the labor, we have the capital, and we also have the entrepreneurship. So in grade 11, we are going to explore these factors of production in more detail. We're going to expand more in terms of what are these factors of production, the extended role they play in the economy, their significance, and how are they remunerated, and so forth, building from what you already learned in grade 10. So topic 1 of grade 11 is the factors of production, and we're going to firstly go through the analysis of all the factors of production. Today we're going to start with natural resources, which is one of the most important factors of production. In terms of natural resources, I decided to divide the lesson into two parts. Into part A, where we're going to be looking into the definition of natural resources. Two, we're going to look into the characteristics of natural resources. Thirdly, we're going to look into the importance of natural resources. And fourthly, we're going to be looking into the remuneration of natural resources, distinguishing between economic rent as well as royalties. In part B, we're going to look into detail the factors that influences the price of natural resources. We're going to look into one, supply and demand. Two, we're going to look at the climate. Three, we're going to look at the location. Fourth, we're going to look at the quality of resources. And fifthly, we're going to look at technology. These are important factors that influences the price, meaning these are the factors that influences an increase or decrease in our natural resources. This is what is going to be critical and important for us to achieve a full analysis of natural resource as a factor of production. Are we still together? Right. So, in order for you to master this topic of natural resources in as far as the examination guideline is concerned, in order for you to excel and be able to score higher marks in your examination and assessments, you must be able to, one, briefly describe and explain the relevant concepts. Very important because you know that in economics you always have the questions, the law or the questions that require you to briefly describe the concept or to briefly describe or explain the relevant concepts, or the certain concepts are relevant as your introduction as far as the essays are concerned. Two, you need to be able to distinguish between economic and free goods. You must be able to draw a distinction between economic goods and free goods. And thirdly, you must be able to distinguish between non-renewable and renewable resources that we have in the economy. And fourthly, you must be able to discuss the characteristics, very important, the characteristics that characterizes natural resources in the economy. And fifthly, you need to be able to discuss the importance of natural resources in the economy. And sixthly, guys, you must be able to discuss remuneration of natural resources under the following headings. You must be able to generally discuss the concept rent. And you must secondly be able to distinguish between economic rent as well as royalties. And thirdly, which is going to be very important, you must be able to discuss in detail the factors that influences rent as a remuneration for factors of production. These are the key aspects of the content that must be covered in terms of the examination guideline for you to be able to master this topic. The first part of factors of production, which is dealing with natural resources. For your convenience, in terms of the examination guideline, the only essay question that we will derive from the topic of natural resources and factors of production is the question that will require you to discuss in detail the factors that influence the price of natural resources. That is an essay question. That is a long question that is going to require approximately 26 marks, which is a lengthy discussion. And the good news is we are going to go through that particular part of our assessment, which requires you to be in a best position to master when you go to your examination or assessment. Now that we have all this out of the way, I think it's very important now, hoping that you have your pen and your pencils and your notepads ready so that we start with the lesson of the day, which is part A, where we're going to be covering the definition, the characteristics, importance, and remuneration. We will reserve part B as the second part of our lesson. Are we ready? Right.